Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Business Connection series. I'm Sita Williams with the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay. Also here today is my colleague and Business Services Lead, Sylvia Francesca. And it's our goal today to share with you the information about the services available through the workforce system and our network of partners. Today, you'll hear from Renee Pierce. Renee, can you wave your hand? Yay. Okay, so we're going to hear from Renee Pierce, Senior Economic Development Analyst from Employment Training Panel, who will be our main speaker. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the workforce services through the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay. So the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay leverages regional funding and aligns partners in the North Bay to ensure a skilled workforce. Our partners include educational and training organizations, community-based organizations, local government, economic development boards, and small business development centers, and more. With our partners and service providers, we offer a network of CareerPoint North Bay Career Centers, employment and training initiatives, and programs throughout our region. Workforce Alliance of the North Bay covers 4 North Bay area counties: Lake, Marin, Napa, and Mendocino. We, of course, work closely with Sonoma and Solano counties as well. So CareerPoint North Bay. You can be connected to the CareerPoint centers near you to benefit from the services and more. We have a CareerPoint center in Lake, Marin, Mendocino, and Napa counties. CareerPoint North Bay is a network of workforce experts providing access to pre-screened applicants, recruiting assistance, referral of candidates from a broad network, job fairs and hiring events to help you access a broader pool of talent. CareerPoint staff also partner in research and industry incubation. CalJobs, finding the right talent. If you haven't utilized CalJobs as a recruitment resource, start today. Businesses that wish to use hiring or recruiting services should create a profile on CalJobs, the state employment website. Visit the CalJobs website and enter your information there. If you'd like to help with this process, please let us know in the chat and we'll follow up with you after the meeting. Workforce Alliance of the North Bay Resources and Services. Some of the services that the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay provide are information on employment tax credits, labor market information, subsidized and customized training options, access to certificate and degree programs to prepare the current and future workforce, and strategies and tools to avoiding or minimizing downsizing and worker layoffs. Take advantage of low and no-cost business resources and services, including Work Opportunity Tax Credit, or WOTC. What is WOTC? WOTC is a federal tax credit available to employers who hire individuals in certain traditionally hard-to-hire target groups. How does it help? It encourages the hiring of individuals who face significant barriers to employment. It provides a federal tax credit to employers who hire these individuals, and it boosts California's economy by putting more of the population to work. And as you can see from the slide, there's a list of eligible worker candidates who would qualify for this tax credit if you apply for it before hiring. If you're interested in learning more, please put a note in the chat and we'll follow up with you after the meeting. Another program is on-the-job training. The on-the-job training program, or OJT, can help your business invest in a great candidate and transform them into a productive and profitable employee. By hiring and training a CareerPoint North Bay job seeker, your business will be provided with reimbursement up to 50% of the wage rate of the participant for the extraordinary cost of providing the training and additional supervision related to the OJT. If you're interested in finding out more about the OJT program, please let us know in the chat. So as you can see, we have a lot to offer. In addition, there's also the work sharing program. So what's the work sharing program? The work sharing program offers an alternative to layoffs when a company is facing situations in which they must reduce their workforce. Under the California's work sharing program, an employer facing an undesired but necessary 20% decrease in workforce could potentially file a work sharing plan with the EDD, reducing the work week of all employees from 5 days to 4 days, a 20% reduction. The employees would then be eligible to receive 20% of their weekly unemployment insurance benefits despite what appears to be excessive earnings. As you can see on this slide, there are many benefits of the work sharing program. If you're interested in learning more, please let us know in the chat. Rapid Response Layoff Assistant webinar. The Workforce Alliance of the North Bay works with the employers to provide resources to displaced workers. Our team can support you during times of transition. Attend the Layoff Assistant webinar and learn more about the resources available. Tomorrow is our next event. Be sure to register today. It's from 10 to 11 a.m. Our business directory. The business directory on the Workforce Alliance of the North Bay website is a searchable and comprehensive tool connecting users to various valuable business resources from all of our community partners. If you're a service provider, we would love for you to complete a business profile so that we can make appropriate referrals. So please join us at our new website. We'll be sure to put our website in the chat. In addition to all these wonderful programs available to businesses in our network and our region, we do a lot of outreach on the behalf of a lot of our partners. We have a large network of businesses, job seekers, and community partners that we share information with as new opportunities arise. If you don't receive our newsletter, please go to our website and sign up and receive our monthly updates. You can also email us to let us know if you would additionally like to be put on our job seeker or employer updates email list. You can email us at info@workforcealliancenorthbay.org. In addition to our programs and our networking efforts, we also offer job fairs and recently virtual job fairs. Are you looking to hire? Business services team organizes recruiting events, big and small, to help you select the right talent. There are 3 job fairs scheduled for April and May. We have our hospitality job fair hosted by the Yountville Chamber of Commerce. That's this week, Thursday on April 22nd. We also have a Green Jobs fair hosted by the Forum 2021 on April 29th. And then we also have a construction career fair on May 26th. If your business is in the construction industry and you're hiring and you'd like to participate, please let us know and we'll connect you with the organizers. For more information about how the Workforce Alliance can help your business grow and thrive, connect with our business engagement team. Here are our county points of contact. We'll be sure to put our email addresses in the chat. So that's Stacy, Sylvia, and me, Sita. All right. Now for today's highlighted event, we have Renee Pierce. Please join me in welcoming Renee Pierce from the Employment Training Panel, ETP. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to do a quick introduction and then I'm going to hand it over to her. Renee Pierce has spent over a decade with ETP, working in their contract review and planning and research units. She is currently Senior Economic Development Analyst and Workforce Specialist for ETP, providing outreach and project development assistance to employers and workforce partners. Renee was a business owner before joining ETP, providing her a real-world perspective on the challenges employers face in California. With her extensive background in business management and workforce development are key to ETP's success as the premier economic development program in the state. So with that, I'm going to stop my share screen and I'm going to turn it over to Renee. Thanks so much, Renee.
Thank you, Sita. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to be here today. I'm going to give a short presentation PowerPoint on ETP to cover just the high level view of what ETP does and how we do it. And then I'll take questions at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and Sylvia and Sita will be helping me to answer them as we get towards the end. If you have any particular needs along the way, just raise your hand and let me know. But mostly if we can just put it in the chat, that would be great. So let me share my screen here. Okay, everybody can see that? Good. All right. So I'm going to give you an overview of the ETP program, current fiscal year, which is 2020 and 2021. We're ending our fiscal year on June 30th. Our new fiscal year will be starting on July 1. So we'll be talking about what's currently happening and what will be happening with ETP. I can get my screen to work. There it is. Oh, sorry, folks.
No worries, take your time.
I'm going to start over. Let me try this again. Now do you see it? Can you see it now? Okay. So, sorry. Well, doesn't seem to be moving for me. Is it moving for you?
It's not.
Okay,
Renee, we see your PowerPoint application, not the slideshow.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's try this one more time.
If it doesn't work, we can try to help you and show your PowerPoint for you.
I think I just need to reset it for some reason. I blame it on not enough coffee this morning. Okay, I'm going to try this one more time.
Yeah, and if for some reason it doesn't work, you can just email us your PowerPoint and we'll be happy to show it for you. Take your time, people, take a breath, drink a cup of tea.
Yeah. So you should be able to see it now.
Yes, we can see it.
So ETP, one of the things I'm going to be doing today is talking about our program updates for the coming fiscal year and COVID, what we've been doing for COVID response, which continues, and a couple of our grant initiatives that we have going on. So what is ETP? It is a state agency that provides pay for performance contracting to employers who are needing to train their incumbent workers or newly hired individuals, and we help reimburse the cost of that training because it is very expensive, and it takes a long time, and we want to provide support to employers in California so that they can retain good jobs in California. We are not a grant. we're not just going to hand out the money. We don't provide the training. We don't mandate the training topics for you, the employer, and we don't select or approve the trainers that you might use. We're not in your business. We don't know what your business needs to succeed. You do. You create the training program that fits your company's needs. And it could be facility by facility. It could be different training at different job sites. So that's all up to the employer to decide. We are funded through the unemployment insurance contribution that employers make to EDD. We take basically $7 per worker per year. We aggregate that into the employment training fund. And then we provide, as I said, contracts for reimbursement for the training that you do. We had 80 million this year, 2020, 2021. Normally, a given year, we would have somewhere over 100 million. So you can see that COVID did have an impact on us. Fiscal 21, 22, we're not sure yet what we're going to be looking at. We're hoping it's around 80 million. It could be reduced even more. We've heard anywhere from 68 million, somewhere between 68 and 80 million maybe. But typically, tellingly rather, our current demand for funds is over $150 million in applications that we can't fund. And new applications come in daily. So it's a challenge this year, and it's unfortunate. So who can contract with ETP? ETP has a couple of different models of contractor. The first, of course, is the single employer contract. It's an employer that comes to us directly. It's usually a private for-profit entity. Certain nonprofit employers can get funding. But then we have what we call a multiple employer contractor, which is a different model that is not an employer coming to us directly, but it's an entity such as a chamber of commerce, a professional trade organization, apprenticeship training programs, trade associations, economic development corporations. It can be a private training agency, school, workforce development board, grant recipient administrator of WIOA funds, Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act funds. So those last four are what we call MECs. And MECs are what I like to describe as like an open book provider of training for ETP funds, especially for a small business that doesn't want to hold a contract themselves, only has maybe 15 trainees or less, and they don't want to go through the process of ETP application, and so they can go directly to the MEC. The MEC already has the funds available, and they just put you into a slot for training based on your training needs, and they'll work with you to provide a trainer if you need a trainer, and they can provide the space to do the training if need be. So those are the two different models that we have: single employer or multiple employer. Are you an eligible employer? So to be eligible for ETP funding, you have to be subject to the unemployment insurance contribution, because that's where we get our money initially. And you have to have one or more full-time employees working at least 35 hours a week or more. And you have to have with EDD registered a California employer account number that EDD assigns to you to report wages. This is usually, you can find this number on your DE-9 form or DE-1, DE-6. Your accountant or tax preparer would be able to find this number for you. Under certain circumstances, we will allow nonprofit employers to do ETP training. These are very special corporations. Usually they are social benefit type of corporations, and they're funded through different programs. We have one called the Clean Transportation Program for example, a company that is doing ZEV type of production, something like that. And who can be trained? Your new and existing full-time workers. We consider these retrainees. And if they're new workers and you're creating new jobs within your company, plus one from your wage rolls from last year, for example, we consider that a job creation trainee. And that's an important term because, again, we are trying to affect job creation in California. So if you are hiring new people, building and expanding, we certainly want to be a partner in that. If you are hiring unemployed individuals, that's considered for us a new hire trainee. That's usually somebody that's trained with a local agency, workforce agency, for example. They do the initial job readiness skills for your jobs, and then they're hired with you, and then we come in behind that and offer additional funding for you to train them up on the more focused job skills that they'll need, or career ladder, or if you're training people up for new managerial positions, etc. We also fund DAS recognized apprenticeships and journey workers, and DAS recognized pre-apprenticeship, as well as small business owners who can do entrepreneurial type of training. If they have less than 9 employees, they can get training themselves, usually in business management skills, etc. Our basic training requirements are that the trainees have to complete a minimum of 8 hours of training. That's our minimum to get any type of ETP reimbursement, unless there's a special policy that's been created. We did have a COVID response, rapid reemployment initiative last year that ended on December 31st that only required a minimum of 4 hours of training, but that was a special situation. Maximum number of hours for a retrainee is generally 200 hours. For a new hire individual, it can go up to 260. And the training funds are earned after all the training is completed and after a mandatory 90-day post-training retention period. Our contracts are generally 2 years in length, so that gives you 21 months to deliver all the training. You don't have to wait 21 months to get reimbursed. Your training may only be 8 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours or 40 hours. However long the length of your training is, that is your contract. And as soon as they're done training, they fall into the retention period, and then 90 days later, the contract terms have been met. You know, some companies need lots of training, so the 21 months is necessary, and we want to make sure that it's flexible, because if you have to stop training for some reason, for unseen circumstances like COVID, we want you to be able to stay within the terms of your contract without losing the benefit of it, so that you earn your maximum amount of funding. So we do have minimum wage requirements by state legislation, that a company, once they've done the training, they have to meet these ETP minimum wages. In most cases, these are wages, minimum wages that your county, or in some cases your city, may require. So whatever your particular locale requires, that's the minimum that you would be able to pay your trainees at the end of training and after retention. So you can see here, new hires, standard ETP minimum wage is anywhere between $15.65 and $17.39 an hour. And for retrainees, your existing workers, it would be $19.12 to $20.86. If you're in a high unemployment area and you need what we call a wage waiver, we can work with you on that to achieve a bit lower, but in no case can it go below whatever the minimum of the locale or the state is at the time. Set frontline workers, we have a category of training called special employment training that affects employers that don't meet our priority industry requirements. And so we have this set fund. They're still priority companies, but they just don't meet some of the other requirements like out-of-state competition, for example. For example, a dentist's office may have trainees, but they don't face out-of-state competition. So we would put them into the set funding category. They could still get funding reimbursement, but the required wage after training and retention is much higher. You can see that here. So there's a broad range of training that we fund, and the main thing to remember, it has to be job skills related. The level of customization of the training is driven by you, the employer. Again, you're creating the curriculum, you're creating the training program. We're just there to support you with dollars. Legally mandated continuing education or generic training topics are one of the few things that we do not fund. Sexual harassment, labor law, etc. Training that replaces, parallels, supplants, competes with, or duplicates in any way already existing approved apprenticeship programs also cannot be funded. So if your program is applicable for joint apprenticeship training, council training, then that would be where we would expect you to have that training done. So if you are looking to do credential type training that is required by your industry, for example, aerospace and Department of Defense contractors, that supply chain has to have cybersecurity certificates for their workers. And we're woefully way behind right now in those industries and getting those certifications out. So you can work with an employer, with a MEC to get that training done if you need to, or you can come in as a single employer contractor for those certification, and we can help you fund that as well. Some of the common training topics we do see are business skills, computer skills, of course, commercial skills, non-manufacturing type of processes. Manufacturing skills is highly desirable for us to affect. Continuous improvement, hazardous materials, management, leadership skills, literacy, and remedial skills, job related. If you need to get those skills assessed, we can, part of that training dollar can go for those assessments as well. There's as I said, there's a bit of training we don't fund, legally mandated training, OSHA, except for OSHA 10 and OSHA 30. Those are carve outs. We will fund those. Some hazmat and some has Whopper also. Basically anything that is legally mandated by the federal or state government, we're not going to reimburse you for. That's kind of your cost of doing business. Company orientation, we do not pay for because that's not a job skill. We currently don't fund truck driver schools. We never have assisted partners and principals in professional trades, doctors, lawyers, CPAs, etc. We don't help those types get a license or continuing education credits. The only exception to that would be nurses, especially new RNs, because there's such a critical need in California for medical skills training for nurses and CNAs and LVNs. General safety, we're not going to do that. Car dealerships, mortgage banking, multi-level marketing. You can see them here. I will be providing this PowerPoint to Sylvia and Sita, and if you want it, they can certainly send it out to you for later reference. You can use whatever training delivery method works best for you. It might be in a classroom setting. It could be in what we call a laboratory setting, what you might call OJT. Interactive e-learning video conferencing, of course, right now is basically the only thing that's out there. Non-interactive computer-based training is an exception to the rule for us. We do allow it, but in relation to the reimbursement, it's going to get a very low reimbursement rate because there's no trainer involved. It's just somebody sitting statically in front of a video or a PowerPoint and watching it. There's no trainer to trainee interaction. Excuse me. Advanced technology training, we do have ratios of trainer to trainee that we require for these different types of training. You can see advanced technology, we keep it no more than 1 to 10 in a classroom. And productive lab, that OJT training where you're learning a piece of equipment, how to run it safely or create the product, no more than 1 to 3, mostly 1 to 1 is what we like to see. Now, who can do the training? Again, you're creating this training program, so you know better than we do who's going to work best for you. It could be your internal people, it could be your foremans, your leads, your management, and that's your most cost effective in many regards because they're already on salary. You may have to get a subject matter expert, an external paid training vendor. We do request that they be located in California, but for some reason, if they're out of state, we would work with you on that. Just let us know. Again, it can be a MEC or a training agency. A multiple employer contractor can do the training for you. And as I mentioned earlier, that MEC can use your facility to do the training, or they can use a center-based facility. For example, if you're working with a local community college that has an ETP contract, you may send your trainees to their campus to get the training done, the classroom training especially, or they might come onto your facility to do that training. It's all, again, up to you how you want to design the program that works best for your particular facility, your particular company. Training agencies can provide training, for-profit training agencies. We do have special requirements for them. And we have that information located on our website. If you are a potential training agency candidate and you want to talk about it, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you all of the information. We want to try and expand our pool of available resources for employers and employees for training. Again, curriculum, you build it, you design it, you know what works best for you, you know what your skills gaps are, you know what your career paths are. So you create the course that's going to work for you. And we don't need a full-blown syllabus. We just want to know bullet point. What are the types of training that you want to do? The class titles within those courses, the number of hours within the ETP agreement. All we say is you're going to train your employees someplace between 8 and 200 hours for your incumbent workers, or 8 and 260 hours for your new hires. We don't get any more specific than that at the time of the agreement. Now, when you actually go in and build the courses out within our system with your development analyst, that's when you start putting in the actual course hours, how much each course is going to take. But that goes way down the road, and I'll talk about that later. So here's the good part, the reimbursement. What is all this work that you're doing going to give you back? Well, the cost of training is your cost of training. You create the program that works best for you. We're not here to fund all of that. We're not here to cover all your costs. We're just here to support that training that you're doing and allow you to do more with less in many ways. So our dollar reimbursement is a fixed fee reimbursement that's inclusive of all of the administration and training costs that you're putting out. And the main thing to remember is that in no case can a trainee ever be charged for any of the training that's done. It has to be the employer paying for it. Right now, ETP reimbursement is $23 an hour, except for that CBT training that I specified at $9 an hour. That is our lowest training. So anywhere between 9 and 23. Joint Apprenticeship Training Council, apprenticeship training has a different requirement for reimbursement. I'll go into that as well. The way you figure out how much your dollar amount could be is you take the number of trainees that you have that you're going to train, the number of hours that they are going to train, times the $23 rate, for example. And that's your ETP funding amount. It's a very simple calculation. So for fiscal 2021, which we're still in right now, these are the different reimbursement rates. As I mentioned, apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship are a lower amount because they get RSI funding, Montoya funds. And then industries outside of our priority industry, what I would mentioned as set, that gets $20 an hour currently. Non-priority industry training right now is available only if we connect you with a MEC, just because our funding has been cut so severely. So if you're not in a and I will give you the priority industry list in a minute. If you're not in a priority industry, then we would probably connect you with a MEC for anything coming through for 2021, 22. I don't know why that's so hard to say. The other feature of ETP that is really in another way to support the employers, we don't make you wait till the end of all the training and the retention period to get your funds. You can get your funds in a rolling process, what we call progress payments. So after that initial 8 hours of training, your trainees have gotten 8 hours under their belts, you enroll them into the ETP system, invoice for it, and you get your first 25% of your funding. Then after all their training is finished and you're sure they're done, you contact ETP and let them know that training is done. They're going to fall into retention, and you invoice for the next 50% of your funds. So by the end of training, you have invoiced for 75% of your training. And then that 90-day retention period goes by, and at the end of that, you invoice for the last 25% of your funds. Now, not every trainee completes training. Not every trainee completes retention. The question I always get from employers is, am I just going to lose out the money that I've expended on this person for possibly 21 months? And the answer is a qualified. You could still receive your funds. For example, if it's a voluntary quit and they go across town and they take the skills that you've provided and they go to your competitor, or they go downstate or whatever, as long as they're employed in California and we can find them in the EDD system, because we do use their social security number to enroll them the first time ever. And then that's changed into a unique identifier, but in the EDD system, we can find them being paid a wage in California. You could still get those funds for that employee, even if they left your employee before they were done. Now, the thing I do like to mention here, that is, there is going to be some closeout of the funding, And if people, you've laid off people or people didn't qualify for the training, there is a clawback of funds that you may have invoiced for and received, and that is clawed back with interest. So you want to be sure that you keep your record keeping on point. We do have a web-based system that we use that helps keep track of things for you, and you can use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track and upload the information into our system. So, you know, it's not like there's not a lot of paperwork like there used to be in the old days. We had paper rosters, paper everything. Everything, of course, now is more automated. So, you know, you have to demonstrate a need for the training. The funding is going to be supplemental to the training that you already do. We do require what we call an in-kind contribution, which is the wages that you're paying your employees while they're being trained. That's all it is. We're never going to ask you to put money in escrow. We're never going to ask you to open your books to us. It's just a calculation that we put into the agreement that is the number of trainees that you have, the number of hours, and the wages that they would be paid during that time. That's the in-kind contribution. Other forms of in-kind contribution are course materials that you might purchase or a facility that you might rent to do the training with in. So the Etp application process is you do an orientation, which today counts as really basically an orientation. We do ask for a preliminary application, which is just basic information on your company, who's going to be the primary contact for the contract, how many employees you have, what type, you know, is it going to be a job creation type of contract? Are you, do you work with a union, or you know, you have some sort of CBA? Just basic information. That preliminary application gets reviewed by our application assessment unit. Once you're determined eligible to receive the funds, that's moved forward to one of our regional offices where an analyst is assigned, a development analyst, and they're the one who will be the main point of contact for you to help you design the contract, the training program. If you've never done a training plan before, they can assist you with that. They're very skilled. And that training plan, that curriculum is the ETP funding agreement that goes to our panel for review. The panel reviews it. They may ask for a few questions about it. And then once they approve it, you can start training. Training is never reimbursed retroactively by ETP. So keep in mind that until you get that approval, either written or by the panel, that any funding, any training that you do is your own. Once ETP is approved, then you can start ETP training, and that will be reimbursed. The pre-app, the main thing about the pre-app is, as you can imagine, this year has been especially difficult for us because of the demand, employers looking for any help that they could get. So ETP has been slammed with applications. Normally in a year, we would get anywhere between, say, 300 and 400. We have well over 1,000, and they're still coming in. And this is still our current fiscal year. We haven't even ended our fiscal year yet. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, we had about 80 million in actual funding that we could expend. We've expended all of that, and we still have 150 million in demand. So it's a very competitive market. Each of those applications has to be looked at by our staff. So you can imagine our staff has been pretty overwhelmed. So my point in all of this is that the application process is taking a while. So don't expect that you're going to apply for ETP funds this week or next week and hear anything. It's going to be a several months process. And when I say that, that's just getting to from the pre-app and getting it out to a regional office, could be 3 to 4 months. So once you get through that process, then you have to get the development analyst assigned, and then that's when your actual application starts to form. So it could be 5 to 6 months before you even get to the point of getting in front of a panel to be approved. That's where a MEC can come in very handy because they already have money available. You can connect with them, sign a certification statement with them, how many employees you want to train and what the training is going to be. And in a matter of a week or two can be training. So keep in mind that MEC connection. So you're going to register the person within the company, as I said, who's going to be the main point of contact for the ETP contract. If you're using a hired consultant to help you with the ETP contract, we don't want them doing the pre-app. You do an orientation online and with us, and then you complete that preliminary application. As I said, I can help you with that if you have any questions about any of that. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that we have priority industries. And so we go by your NAICS code, whatever your NAICS code was assigned by EDD, excuse me, that's what we go by. So we've made it easy for you to find out if your NAICS code is eligible, is considered priority industry funding for funding. And you just put in your NAICS code and if you automatically, whether our system considers you priority industry. I'm going to scroll through here to get you to the priority industry NAICS codes, because this is all we're funding right now because of the lack of available funds for other things. So these are the main industries NAICS codes that we are responding to at the moment. Any manufacturer without a state competition, a NAICS code, their manufacturing is our number one concern right now. Keeping and retaining, retaining and attracting manufacturing to California is very important to the governor's office. So manufacturing is our number one priority industry. So you can see here what we are focusing on. You can tell these are mostly COVID related in some way. Then here's another set, 62 healthcare, veterinary services. These are all industries that are critical to getting us back on our feet, basically. Small business, if you're under 100 employees in California and no more than 250 worldwide, we consider you small business, and we do have the ability to give you some incentive for that. The other thing that I want to mention for incentive is veterans. If you are hiring and training veterans, we want to be able to support that. So let me know if you're on a veterans hiring jaunt, because there are other things that we might be able to connect you to that could help you with that. A couple of additional incentives that we have are the paid family leave grant, which ETP is responsible for. The PFL program is, for employees that need to take care of a sick child or their parents, especially around COVID. That program's been expanded, and so small businesses under 10 employees can reach out for a $500 grant to support training or cross-training a worker in their company while that person is on paid family leave. More information on that can be found on our website. And then the other one that we have going right now that just started up is the Social Entrepreneurs for Economic Development grant. And this is a $10 million grant that's was open to nonprofit community-based organizations. They had to apply to ETP. We did pick several organizations that are going to be administering these grants. They're going to go to small businesses, micro enterprise, especially for training of entrepreneurs, of immigrant or limited English proficient individuals, training, outreach, technical assistance to help launch or sustain small businesses within those communities. And then there's going to be one demonstration program that we will also be assisting with. I've given you a lot of information at this point, so I think I'm going to end it there and just open it up to any questions that may have come along.
All right, folks, if you have any questions, please, you're welcome to unmute and ask Renee directly. I think to get us started, we have something in the chat, the YWCA Golden Gate. Do you see that Silicon Valley provides employment support services for older adults, mostly low income? Wondering how many employers in Marin participate in your program.
I'm sorry, you didn't get the last part.
Oh, how many employers in Marin participate in this program? Do you know offhand, or?
I don't know offhand, but you know, I can, if you reach out to me, I can get a data run on that. But you know, one of the employers that we do work with is BioMarin. You know, they've been very successful ETP contractors over the last few years. They're doing a lot of hiring and training, and not all higher level, you know, scientific technical assistance. A lot of it is entry level. So, you know, there are companies out there like that.
Awesome. And somebody mentioned just, I think it was when you were talking about how your program is in demand right now. And they were like, oh, it sounds pretty discouraging. Would you say that they should still apply?
Yeah, you know, the main thing is to stay within the parameters that I listed for, you know, if you're a priority industry or not. If you have questions about it, you know, please reach out to me. We can talk about your training plan. If you're doing any sort of job creation, especially if you're hiring at-risk youth, ex-offenders, veterans, PTSD, you know, anybody with a disability, we have initiatives around those types of things. So it may still, you know, be worth putting in an application. I would say the type of company that is probably going to want to wait and see if ETP would have funds available later on is a non-priority industry, as I mentioned, such as a professional or a you know, something that is not creating a product.
Okay.
Retail, no, unless you're a grocery store. And that's because grocery stores are essential to keeping us alive and well in these COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, contact me, ask the question. I'll be glad to work with you on it.
Wonderful. And I did put your email address in the chat. And okay, great. So people can connect with you directly.
I'll send this PowerPoint to you so that you have that as a PDF that you can send along to people as well. It'll have all my contact information.
Okay, awesome. And somebody earlier said that they have a school photography company and they are interested in training photographers.
So that wouldn't be considered a priority industry for us right now.
Okay.
You know, so that would be something that we would probably say wait until we, you know, we're back in business and have funds available for other types of industry.
It is technically considered manufacturing by the Franchise Tax Board.
Well, we would go by your NAICS code, and you know, and the reality is you don't face out-of-state competition. You're not creating a real, you know, product that's COVID related right now, and that's basically what our function is right now.
Okay, getting people back up and running. Okay.
Yeah, you know, in prior years that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
when we're well over 100 million in funding, we have lots of different industries that we can assist and have since 1982, but just not right now, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to mislead people. You know, it's a great program and I love it and I'm very passionate about it, but I am not going to mislead people and think that anybody is going to get funding right now. It's going to be very circumcised.
Yeah, yes. So do you have any, as we just wrap it up, do you have any pieces of advice or any things nuggets that have come to you as you finished up your presentation?
Well, the only thing I would, the main thing I would like to say is we have a lot of different multiple employer contractors out there that are open, they have money, they are willing to assist employers that need training right now. So if you have an immediate training need, reach out to me. Let me see if I can connect you to a MEC that can help you. If not, it won't happen, but there's always a chance. So, I would rather ask the question than have someone just walk away. So please contact me. That's all I ask, is mainly just contact me. Let's have the conversation, see how we can connect you to either local services, such as the workforce development boards, or an independent training agency or something. Some way that we can assist you.
So would the photographer training program as a small business, fit under that umbrella, or is it not prioritized at all?
It might. So I would have to look at a few of their identifiers, the NAICS code especially, and see. But it's worth checking out.
And is the Workforce Alliance considered to be one of the, is that a MEC? Are you guys a MEC or no?
The Workforce Alliance Board is not a MEC yet, but there is always the possibility, and that might be a conversation that we're going to have after this.
How does one find what companies or what organizations are MECs?
We have them on our website. But the most efficient way is really to contact me, because all our lists on the website, frankly, are not as up to date, because every month we have new MECs that are approved, and sometimes the list is not updated as quickly. A lot of you'll see, if you look on our list, a lot of them right now show as joint apprenticeship training councils or apprenticeship type of training. But we have a lot of other MECs that are specifically dealing with manufacturing and technology and other business organizations, sheet metal companies, just everything. But contact me. The best answer is call me.
Thank you so much, Renee. We really appreciate your time this morning to speak with our community-based organizations, with our community and our community businesses. Sylvia, did you have anything you wanted to say before you wrap it up?
Well, I wanted to thank you, Renee, for taking your time to present for us. And I would encourage everyone to visit our website, Workforce Alliance of the North Bay. You'll find all the information how to reach out to us. And if ETP would be a good fit, we'll contact you with Renee. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good morning, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.